go through that negative. I need to have that experience. I need to feel bad, and I need to learn something from that negative experience. And I don't try to pull myself out of it, and I let it go until it moves through naturally. And George always says about how you have to feel positive, and that's great, but when I do that, I don't get that benefit from the learning, from the negative, from the loss. So I was wondering what your opinion on that was.
Well, I said something about it earlier, which is that I think you stay in the flow. And, of course, like the little flying carpet, you go up, you go down. And when something happens that's painful or contracting, when you contract your energy, and, you know, we might label that as bad or negative or something, but if you take the label off of it and just experience the energy of what's going on in there and just experience the memories, perhaps, or associations or ideas that come along with that energetic pattern, you're going to learn something.
But sometimes it comes with a lot of crying and a lot of immovability and a lot of freeze position, and I really can't move forward until it seems to work its own way forward.
Yeah, and I think that's really natural, and that's what I do.
And where does that go against what you say with all the positive thinking? Because you keep doing positive, and I keep feeling like, oh my goodness, I'm doing this wrong because I have to go through the negative.
It works for me, Sharon. So so I keep pushing it. I still would rather go in the positive direction.
Well, there's a difference between using your willpower and forcing yourself to do something, and just simply choosing
and letting it happen
to feel the way you like to feel. But also, if something really is coming up, like an old memory or an old pattern, which is part of the clearing process, which is very important in intuition and in getting your consciousness to be sort of permanently higher. And it's not so much positive, but it's at a slightly higher frequency, so that things don't seem quite as heavy and solid. Then I think you have to go through some of these things that are fearful, let's say. Those are things based on fear or fear of loss or inability to feel the true self. So yeah, I think you're right on.
East of the Rockies, Tim in Pennsylvania. Hey, Tim, go ahead.
Yeah, hey, George. I've only been listening since October, but you got a lot of great stuff. I really like the show.
Glad you joined us.
And first off, just had two examples of things that with my father that happened. Me and my brother were pretty young, like 6 and 8, out back sledding. And then we were out there for quite a while, and then all of a sudden he's like, wait, come inside, put on some helmets. We got mad, whatever, but went back outside. First trip my brother takes down the hill, he goes head first, and he gets up going pretty fast, and he goes head first right into the base of a tree and just comes right to a dead stop,
Oh.
And I mean, he would have been hurt bad. I mean, he chipped like 4 teeth and whatnot, but just all of a sudden my dad had this feeling, and just said, hey.
And after
another,
yeah.
Sorry, what? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Okay.
But another thing I was going to say, we were heading out to an amusement park, and we had this really huge willow tree in our yard, and my dad, right as we were leaving, he said to my mother, he's like, would you think you want to move your car over to my side of the driveway? And she's like, nah, let's go. We're late anyway, whatever. We get back at 4 o'clock in the morning, and there's one of the main branches, which is probably like 3 foot around, and it went right down the middle of my mom's car.
Yeah.
Decided to fall while we were
What I think
gone,
is neat about those stories about your dad is that he somehow had a mechanism inside of his awareness where he listened to the impressions he got. So like his inner perceiver was talking to him, and he heard it, and relayed it. He entertained it, He wasn't ignoring things.
You have to listen to it, don't you?
Well, no, a lot of people don't.
You should listen to it.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's a new lifestyle, is learning to notice what you're noticing.
Time for 1 or 2 more quick calls. Phoenix, Arizona. Scott, go ahead.
Yes, Penny, I was wondering, I recently read a book by Eckhart Tolle, and he explains that your consciousness at this moment determines your future. so that what determines your consciousness is actually the presence of the inner energy field in your body. Is this what you're trying to explain in your books?
Yeah, I think that's a good way to say it. Your energy field is made up of your personal vibration, and it's made up of your thoughts, your emotions, the way your body's vibrating, and how much of your soul is getting through at any given moment. And that changes from time to time, but you have a say in how much of your soul gets through, right? And how much is blocked by fear or by the ego or the mind.
Absolutely. Fascinating. Thank you so much.
Sure.
I appreciate it.
Okay, absolutely. Final call. Let's go to Fresno, California. Go ahead, Mel.
Well, I had something happen to me. It was like out of a science fiction movie. Yeah, a couple of years ago, my wife and I we were visiting his brother in Deltona Beach, Florida, and we're on a flight back. And I was doing nothing out of the usual. I had a window seat, and I felt this pure energy hit me on top of the head. It was like my whole brain lit up there, and I instantly looked across the aisle, one seat up, and this guy was just staring at me for like I'm going to guess 3 seconds. And he just casually looked forward and casually looked down. And I thought, what the heck was that? And I told my wife. She didn't know what to make of it. And I don't know what to make of it to this day. The only thing I could think of, the guy was just scanned my brain or something. I hadn't figured it out, and I'll never figure it out. And then one other thing, I have a picture of a vortex I want to send to you, but I don't know how to get it to you. But this thing had happened. It's just totally perplexing. I don't know what to think about it. I don't tell very many people about it.
I'll tell you what, Mel, send the picture to me at george@coastam.com if you can, if you have the ability to scan it. And I'd like to take a look at that. Penny, thank you so much. Penny Pierce, the author of The Intuitive Way and also Frequency, 2 books in your next collection. When we come back, weathercaster John Coleman joins us as we talk about climate change, or the lack of it, on Coast to Coast AM.